Hare Bhagavatam ki, Srila Vyasa ki, Bhaktivedanta purpose ki. Sri Radha ki, Sri Giriraj Govardhan ki, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu Gaurhari ki, Sri Prabhupada Govardhan ki. All glories to the Single Buddha.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the Single Buddha. All glories to the Single Buddha. All glories to the Guru. Let's go to faith to Sri Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. So we welcome you to this morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. The fourth canto, we're reading from the fourth canto, chapter 12, text number 19. Dhruva Maharaj goes back to Godhead. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Shivam Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Viraye Nasta Prayasya Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatottama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. So we'll read the word for it. Sa Dadarsha Vimana Agriyam Navasa Avatarat Dhruva Vibrajayat Dasa Disha Rakapatim Eva Uditam Sadarasha Mamam Agryam Vimam Agryam Sadarasha Vimanagram Vimanagram Nabaso Vataradruva Vibrajayat Dashadisho Rakapatim Nivoditam Sadadasha Vimanagaryam Nabaso Vataradruva Vibrajayat Dashadisho Rakapatim Nivoditam Sadadarsha Vimanahagyam Nabaso Vataradruva Vibrajayat Dashadisho Rakapatim Nivoditam Sadarsha Vimanagriham Nabaso Vataradruva Vibrajayat Dashadisho Rakapatim Nivoditam Sadarsha Vimanagriham Nabaso Vataradruva Vibrajayat Dashadisho Rakapatim Nivoditam Sadadasha Vimanagriham Nabaso Vataradruva Vibrajayat Dashadisho Rakapatim Nivoditam Sa, E, Dadarsha, So, Vimana, an airplane, Agriham, very beautiful, Nabasa, from the sky, Avatarat, descending, Dhruva, Dhruva Maharaj, Vigrajayat, illuminating, Dasha, 10, Disha, directions, Rakapatim, the full moon, Eva, light, Uditam, visible. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. As soon as the symptoms of his liberation were manifest, he saw a very beautiful airplane coming down from the sky, as if he were the brilliant full moon were coming down, illuminating all the 10 directions. You can repeat this possibly. As soon as the symptoms of his liberation were manifest, he saw a very beautiful airplane coming down from the sky, as if the brilliant full moon were coming down, illuminating all the 10 directions. Purport. There are different levels of acquired knowledge: direct knowledge, knowledge received from authorities, transcendental knowledge, knowledge beyond the senses, and finally spiritual knowledge. When one surpasses the stage of acquiring knowledge by the descending process, he is immediately situated on the transcendental platform. Dhruva Maharaj, being liberated from the mental concept of life, was situated in the transcendental knowledge and could perceive the presence of a transcendental airplane, which was as brilliant as the full moonlight. This is not possible in the stages of direct and indirect perception of knowledge. Such knowledge is a special favor of the Supreme Personal Guardian. One can, however, rise to this platform of knowledge by the gradual process of advancing devotional service or Krishna consciousness. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumalitam Jainam Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jaina Bhutale Svayamrupa Gadanam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuddha Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Savajatam Sagara Raghunantam Vitam Tam Sajipam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakam Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Madhu Jagapate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Taptakanshan Gaurangi Raja Vidhaleshwan Vrishabhalam Sukhdevi Pranamani Harivi Vachakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Hemacha Patitanam Pavanine Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namah Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. As soon as the symptoms of his liberation were manifest, he saw a very beautiful airplane coming down from the sky, as if the brilliant full moon were coming down, illuminating all the 10 directions. My dear Swadhani, such a yoga, talk about airplanes. It's not something new, it's not the modern airplane. The sky is very, very beautiful airplane. So, airplane has been in existence for a long, long time. Yeah. So the Dhruva, the liberation of Dhruva Maharaj, and going back to Godhead, is very, very significant. Especially the devotees of the Lord, when they go, stand and go, your mind is so determined to see the Lord, determination, following the orders of the spiritual master very strictly, the regular principles, and that way gradually they came to the point of becoming free from the bodily concept. The bodily concept is not something that we can just talk about and that is easily said and done. The bodily concept is very, very deep and very, we are conditionings, especially in this Kali Yuga, is very, very challenging. In a lecture, and this lecture was in Conway Hall in 1969, Prabhupada was addressing, and this lecture was part of the Ishopanishad introduction. If you read the Ishopanishad, you must have come across that. Prabhupada's lecture in Conway Hall, and the word Veda, he explains the word Veda means knowledge. Veda means knowledge. And yeah, the different types of acquired knowledge, in different ways. And Prabhupada mentions that the one type of this is through the process of pratyaksha. Pratyaksha means direct perception. They give the example of seeing the sun, trying to see the sun directly, and when they come to some conclusion that the sun is just a small ball in the sky. But it's not true. By our sense perception, we can deduce like that, because when we read about it in the textbooks, it's different. The sun is much larger, very much larger than what people see. So the senses, gathering knowledge via the senses, pratyaksha, and another type of gathering, acquiring knowledge is through the process of experiment or anumana. Anumana is by we conduct, we have the apparatus, all the things ready for experiment, the hypothesis, and we come to some conclusion. It's like this, it's like that. It may be like this, it may be like that. This Prabhupada said it's just merely supposition. So that's not really. And the third type he mentioned was Shabda Brahman or Shruti Brahman. Shruti means by oral reception. And we study the life of all these great personalities. In the Bhagavatam, we see how by hearing they got perfection, they gained perfection. So the knowledge coming down in a disciplic succession, or parampara, as Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita. Evam parampara praptam, how this transcendental knowledge is filtering down in a line of disciplic succession. And we know Krishna, Jai Sri Radharani ki, Sri Giriraj Govardhan ki, Sri Gauranga Govardhani ki, Shri Prabhupada. Yeah, so Brahma first said from the Supreme Personality of God. Brahma was the first created being in this universe. And the Bhagavatam, the first was the Vyasadevi. In that verse, it said, Tene Brahma Ridayani Kavaye, that the Lord imparted knowledge Rida, through the heart. spoke to Brahma through the heart, revealed knowledge through the heart. Tende Brahma Vidya Hanikavaye. And Brahma in turn gave this knowledge to his son, Narad Muni. And Narad Muni in turn gave it to Vyas. So there's a chain there. Bona fide chain of knowledge filtering down in a very realized way. Of course, Vyasa then again gave it to his son, Sukadeva Goswami, spoke the Bhagavatam to Madhvarikant, like reading today, Bhagavatam. So in this way, and Vyasa is sometimes described as a literary incarnation of God. The Bhagavatam is explaining the absolute truth. The Bhagavatam also kicks off all other types of materially motivated Kaitava Dharma. Kaitava Dharma means cheating religions. There's so many cheating religions out there, or materially motivated religions are there. And the Bhagavatam is giving pure, and it attracts those who are pure. Therefore, Bhagavatam is glorified like that. It's exposed to all other types of so-called religious as cheating, because they all are very materially motivated. And the goal of the revealed scriptures is threefold. It helps us to understand our relationship with God, with the Supreme Personality. Give us impetus to understand that. It's called Sambandha. Sambandha Jnana. We understand who we are, and we understand what is our relationship with God. Sambandha. Then the next promise is called Abhideya. Abhideya means the process. And what is the process? To engage in devotion, unalloyed devotional service. Abhideya. And then the third, final, is called Prayojana. Prayojana means the goal of life. What is the goal of life? Like Dhruva is doing here, he's preparing himself to go back to Godhead. So these are all great personalities which we can not imitate, but emulate and try to follow in their footsteps. Yeah. Our 10 years material world it's been, we cannot tell how long we've been here since creation. We've been in different bodies of incarceration in this material world. And we've been doing the same things. What is simply called chewing the tube, trying to eke out some happiness, some sense pleasure, and in that cycle of samsara. On and on, birth and death, and not understanding our real position. Therefore, when we come to understand, or by the mercy of the pure devotees of the Lord who are genuinely giving the message with very, very precarious. There's a song by Govinda Das, Kamala Jala Jala. Kamala Jala Jala. He says our situation is like a drop of water on a lotus leaf. Very precarious, isn't it? One strong wind will blow the water. It's like compared to a drop of water on a lotus leaf. Kamala Jala Jala. Nice song. That is our position. We are precarious. The situation in the material world is very, very precarious. So until we take heed of that, and we see how the nature of the material world, it is, especially in this Kali Yuga, it is very, very challenging. Dhruva, fortunately, was in the Satya, in so many ways. There was no presence of vice at all. There was absence of vice, any simple activities as such. But in this Kali Yuga, we are beset with so many challenges. And we are actually suffering like this drop of water on this lotus leaf. Very precarious. Any time it can be blown out of it. Anytime. So unless we come to some realization that all this is simply a waste of time. Like Raghunath was mentioning about Rukmini, why should one want to go to work after all the studies? What did she reply? What did she say? She chose happiness instead of misery. Very intelligent. So we should all take a leaf from her realization. When I was aged, I was big mind. I never had the good fortune of being with devotees or hearing from them or being exposed to Krishna consciousness. So I learned the hard way. So intelligence means we learn from others' experience. So sometimes we have to experience it to get realization. Get kicked around by the material energy, this Maya. It's so difficult to overcome. But there's hope. All the Dhruva was in the Satya Yuga, and Kali Yuga is such an age of this. Kali Dosha Videi Rajan. Sukadeva was speaking to the king in Bhagavatam. Although this age of Kali is full of faults, Kali Dosha means faults. Kali Dosha Videi Raja, king, O king. But there's one good thing. The chanting of the holy names of God. And by this process of chanting the holy names, under guidance, under some able guidance, one can come out of the clutches of this age of Kali. Kali Kali Nama Krishna Avatar. Kali Kali Nama Krishna Avatar. So in his age of Kali, the form, Rup, Nama, the name, form of God, they absolutely are not different. And by that, by taking shelter of these holy names, just by chanting the holy names, we can go back to God. What a concession, the age of Kali, this concession is that. Special mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who appeared in this just over 500 years ago. Krishna Varnam, Krishna Krishna, Samopamasta Pasam, Jagdai Sankitantaya, Yajanti Sube Saha. Right? She doesn't. So in his age of Kali, he says, Sumedasa, very intelligent persons, not just intelligent, very Sumes, in fact, very intelligent persons will take to worshipping that incarnation will constantly chant the name of Krishna. Because Krishna Varanayati is constantly chanting the name of Krishna. And is accompanied by his associates. So this incarnation has come for that purpose, to give his special mercy, to vibrate the holy names as the absolute truth, the means of God realization. So there's hope. There's hope for us, yes, as long as we embrace this process of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Sankirtan process of God realization. Otherwise we'll be torturing like this, very precariously. We don't take this message very seriously, because we can see the age of Kali is rapidly deteriorating every day. You see, it's getting bad. And what to speak of end of Kali? You're not even 5,000 years into Kali, and already it seems, isn't such deterioration is that you don't want to be around. So, by the special mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that we can get the same results what was done in the Trita or in the other yugas, the misery, very quickly too. Very quickly. Yes. Very, very quickly. Dhruva took for long. Dhruva, it is said he took for 36,000 years. In Kali Yuga, you don't have that much time. If you're lucky to see 70, 80 years by the rate of, isn't it? And it's going to get worse. People, their lifespan will be even much. You see, 30 years will be lucky by the time they're fully mature. Yeah, you know, God consciousness will be so bad. People will just be rows and thieves. Yeah, very, very bad. Very, very bad. So unless we take this message very, very seriously. And Sri Prabhupada mentions that in that introduction, he mentions the 4 defects in the purport, in the introduction to Ishopanishad. The cheating propensity, illusion, how we are in illusion, how we are in perfect senses, and how we make mistakes. He says great leaders make mistakes. He mentions Mahatma Gandhi, one of the great stalwarts, Indian liberation, Indian politics, renowned all over the world, Mahatma Gandhi. But he made mistakes and he paid with his life. He did not eat, he could. Even Prabhupada would write him letters. Give up the politics, lest you meet in love. Somehow the letters either didn't get to him, or he just ignored it. And Prabhupada also mentioned Kennedy, President Kennedy. At that time, America was one of the most powerful nations in the world. Of course, Kennedy being the president number 1. Most powerful. And he also made mistakes. He made mistakes. Yes. Then the cheating propensity is that we is very learned and may cheat, especially one is in the teaching profession. They always kind of theories and that are not really 100% correct. And that's also teaching, cheating. They are cheaters. And one lecture I listened to the other day by Giriraj Swami was mentioning about these defects. And he mentioned how Swarup Damodar Maharaj, that time was a very eminent scholar, and he had his PhD in chemistry and physics. And in the science of is also mentioned, there's a dialogue there with Prabhupada. And there's a book called Life Come From Life. There is the toned down Singh, Mr. Singh. But actually, you got in Shape Bhashan Prabhupada, as Swami Bhakti Swami. He's from Manipur. And he's been here a few times, holding big conventions about science. And so we're fortunate to have him here. So he was recounting how there was a great scientist who somehow got the Nobel Prize for chemistry or something to that effect. And he said, for 3 chemicals you can produce life. And he got the Nobel Prize for that, just by his theory. So Swami Damodar approached him later and asked him, if I give you these 3 chemicals, can you produce life? And he said, not now. So you can see how this cheating. Not now when. Proper compare that to in the future. It's like giving somebody a post-dated check where there's 100 million rand, $100 million. It's worthless. Until you have money to back it. Post-dated. It's like giving a post-dated check. We'll do so in the future. We'll create. And so this is how the cheating is going on. Cheating, we make mistakes. We have imperfect senses. And we illusion on this bodily concept. Conditioning. How we are so conditioned in this material. We're identified with this body. So the liberation means that we have to come out. How we come out of that. Like the verse in the Sarvopari Vinirmuktam Tat Parivena Nirmal. Sarvopari. Upari means different designations. We have to give up these designations of identifying with this body, of male, female, whatever. Sarvopari Vinirmuktam Tat Parivena Nirmal. Nirmal means to cleanse. I remember there was a soap powder in India. I think it's still Nirmala soap powder. We used to buy that called Nirmala. Cleansing. We have to become cleansed of all these material designations. Sarvopari Tatparivena Nirmala. Become cleansed. Ultimately, we have to give up all these designations as such. This is our Dhruva liberating this material body. Yes. So the Vedas may knowledge, so how the Shabda, you mentioned the third type of actually receiving knowledge by the descending process. The descending process means knowledge and down. And they give a very nice analogy sometime of that one. Like all the lovely best mangoes are on top of the tree. And how will you get to it? How will you take a stick and beat it or throw stones? That's what normally we do, isn't it? Let's talk about green mangoes with chili powder and salt. Now the right we have to reach them in such a way that they stay unblemished. Isn't so? They form a chain. Isn't? And hand it down from hand to hand, right from the top to the bottom. So the mango remains unblemished, untouched, not marked. So likewise, this knowledge also is coming down, all these, forming this chain, all the great sadhus, great devotees of the Lord, who are there to bring this knowledge down, descending way, filtering down to us. So in that way, we know we're getting knowledge that is perfect, or is unblemished. The process of sadhu, shastra, and guru, the sadhu check, the three prongs of how we're getting perfect knowledge, all must in essence agree or say the same thing, or we get the siddhanta, the conclusions must be the same. The conclusion that we have to surrender to Krishna in so many ways, they will say, but the conclusion is that ultimately we have to until Narayana, we have to remember Krishna. We have to remember Krishna at the end. Or Krishna is saying, Vasarva Dharma Parishta. You have to surrender to me. So they are not translating in any other way that, yes, we have to surrender to Krishna. Not to somebody that's unknown or unborn. So like that, there's so many versions of assimilating this knowledge, and some of them are just misled people in the general public. Nobody understood what is the goal. Therefore, the pure devotees come to disseminate and to give us the correct guidance. And how we approach Tadvini Pani Patrina Parishpane Seva Upadekshati Idam Jnana Sattva. One has to approach a qualified spiritual master. That's very, very emphatic. It's there. One has to approach a bona fide spiritual master. In that way, one can understand transcendental knowledge. In that way, one can engage in devotional service, unalloyed devotional service. In that way, one can leave this world. This is the process. Krishna is giving his instruction in Bhagavad Gita. We can go circumvent that, compromise that. And then Krishna by himself set the example. The Supreme Lord comes to lead by example. He accepted Guru. Lord Ramachandra accepted Guru. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted Guru. So by the example they set standards. Yad yad charachisya siddhata devata lojana taya pramanam kurti lokastat. Whatever great men do, common men follow. And whatever standard is set by example, all the world pursues. So this is parampara. This the significance of Guru Parampara, how we can successfully free ourselves from material tabernacles, material realm of life, which is so confusing, so full of dilemma, full of anxiety. Kunta means anxiety. Vaikuntha means free from anxiety. So if you create this great person, come to create a mood of Vaikuntha. In the next chapter, Rupa Goswami mentions that in one text, devotional service, he says there's a sense of we feel relief. What is that relief? We feel relief from the karmic reactions. So that what we meant to experience is some token, some relief is there from that. We feel immediate relief. It brings immediate relief. That is how it's described there. Devotional service brings immediate relief. And then, and he mentioned that the outside reactions are manifested in so many ways. In karmic reaction, seeds in seed form, in fruit that we're experiencing now, in stock that when we are carrying forward, so what we gotta carry. So in so many ways, it like kind of feel the conditioned soul is like bombarded with all these things. So only through transcendental knowledge, by his intelligence, by realizing these things, by studying these scriptures, and this one can come out of that by the mercy, the pure devotee. Yasya deva parabhakti yata deva tata. So by implicit faith in the spiritual master Krishna, the impossible knowledge one can understand. Prakashati, Mahatma, one can become a great soul by this implicit faith, having implicit faith in Guru and Krishna. If the Guru is giving something not different from what Krishna is saying, he's pure devotee, he's giving unadulterated as it is. That's his special mercy. That's Krishna's special mercy. And his spiritual mercy, spiritual mercy. And of course, we have all the different sadhus they were giving us so much nectar that we have to imbibe. Prabhupada printed all his books. He spent a lifetime translating all his books. Not even got a kick out of it. He saw the need. He said, these books are my legacy. These books are my legacy. And these books will save one from his darkest, will save humanity from his darkest hour. These books. Therefore, the importance of book distribution, proper stress, we give so much of it. There's an emphasis on that. Book distribution, preaching is the essence. Books are the basis. Utility is the principle. Purity is the false. Not the proper coin, he borrowed it from some like the Chinese saying. I mentioned one when Jaisacinandana was giving a seminar. And he said it wasn't Prabhupada's. Prabhupada took it from some inquiry. So, yeah, anyway, we can use it in Krishna consciousness. Yeah. Okay, we'll stop there. Any questions or comments?
Krishna,
Yes.
you touched on two names, Kennedy and Damodar Swami, which pains both of them, the demise pains me a lot because I know what happened.
Especially chemists, when they get recruited by the CIA, you're supposed to stay there, not have any conscientious regrets. And if you do that, they will eliminate you. And as for the Kennedys, he was bringing the war to an end. And warmongers didn't like that. So, you know, the Americans reigned atomic explosion for 12 years in the Solomon Islands without any conscience. That is just to pacify the insecurity of the superior army, the Russians. That's the reality of life in words.
Yeah. Anyway, there's something, politics is dedicated. Politics, it's a precarious.
By the way, Kennedy, Mother Kennedy Sr. approached me, and you gave the answer to exactly what I said. Nobody can, she asked me, actually not only Robert Kennedy was assassinated, others as well. And I said to her, nobody can escape Galvin reaction and pacify the world. She knew I'm not afraid to speak. So I am a whole lot of doing that.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.